Today we're going to review a brief history about steps have taken towards adopting a healthy eating culture throughout American history. We'll identify key recommendations for healthy living and how to apply them to your daily lives. Features and benefits of some ethnic and therapeutic diets such as DASH diets and plant-based diets. We'll also briefly talk about many different fad diets that are being advertised, the possible risks and dangers of fad diets, and how to recognize them. 1862, President Abraham Lincoln signed legislation to establish the United States Department of Agriculture. And 2.5 years later, in his final message to Congress, Lincoln called USDA the People's Department. Through our work on food, agriculture, economic development, science, natural resource conservation, and other issues, USDA has impacted the lives of generations of Americans. Wow. Next, please. Starting over a century ago, USDA has empowered Americans to make healthy food choices by providing a number of publications, food guidance symbols, and more recently, a suite of interactive online tools. Here's the history of USDA's food guidance over the time. As you can see, it's starting from 1916 and all the way. The last one is MYPLATE, which was established in 2011. The main message up to 1977 was to encourage people to meet their daily nutrient needs. The term moderation started to develop after the 1977 dietary goals for the United States. When dietary goals before 1977 was based on basic four, they included the fifth group to highlight the need to moderate intake of fat, sweets, and alcohol. Total diet approach included goals for both nutrient adequacy and moderation. 5 food groups and amounts formed the basis for the food guide pyramid. Next, please. Many of you remember the pyramids, the food guide pyramid and my pyramid. USDA's food guidance symbols before MYPLATE. My pyramid, released by the USDA Center for Nutrition Policy and Promotion on April 19, 2005, was an update on the earlier American food guide pyramid. Significant changes from the previous food pyramid included inclusion of a new symbol, a person on the stairs representing physical activity, measuring quantities in cups and ounces instead of servings, concentrated more on measuring and portion control. In 2011, MYPLATE was introduced along with updating of USDA food patterns for the 2010 dietary guidelines for Americans. Different shape to help grab consumers' attention with a new visual cue icon that serves as a reminder for healthy eating, not intended to provide a specific message. Visual is linked to food and is a familiar mealtime symbol in consumers' mind. As identified through testing, My continues to the personalization approach from My Pyramid. Healthy eating patterns support a healthy body weight and can help prevent and reduce the risk of chronic disease throughout periods of growth, development, and aging. Here you see an example showing the appropriate daily portion of 5 food groups supporting healthy eating patterns. You see half of the plate is filled with fruits and vegetables, one fourth for grains, and 1/4 for protein. And on top of the picture, you see dairy products. And this is my. Each of the vegetable subgroups contribute different combination of nutrients, making it important for individuals to consume vegetables from all the subgroups. For example, dark green vegetables provide most vitamin K, red and orange vegetables, the most vitamin A, legumes, the most dietary fiber, and starchy vegetables, the most potassium. Vegetables in the other vegetable subgroup provide a wide range of nutrients in varying amounts. The tip for vegetable is vary your veggies by adding a new vegetable to different mealtime each day. Add color to salads with baby carrots, shredded red cabbage, or green beans. Include seasonal veggies for variety throughout the year. Vegetables go well with a dip dressing. Try a low-fat dip or hummus with raw broccoli, red and yellow peppers, sugar snap peas, celery, cherry tomatoes, or cauliflower. The recommendation amount for vegetable in healthy US style eating pattern at the 2000 calorie level is 2.5 cup equivalent of vegetables per day. Plate. Fruits provide us lots of healthy nutrients such as most vitamins and minerals. Most importantly, fruits are a good source of dietary fiber, potassium, and vitamin C. Although fruit juice can be part of healthy eating pattern, it's lower than whole fruit in dietary fiber, and when consumed in excess can contribute to extra calories. Therefore, at least half of the recommended amount of fruit should come from whole fruits. Also, when selecting canned fruit, choose options that are lower in added sugar. 1/2 cup dried fruit count as 1 cup equivalent of fruit. Similar to juice, when consumed in excess, dried fruits can contribute to extra calories. Fruits with small amounts of added sugar can be accommodated in the diet as long as calories from added sugar don't exceed 10% per day of the total calorie intake. So grain on my plate was the part for the 1/4 of the recommended amount was 1/4 of the plate. And grains come in two forms of whole and refined. Whole grain contain the entire grain kernel, the bran, germ, and endosperm. Examples of whole grains include whole wheat, flour, bulgur, which is cracked wheat, oatmeal, oat cornmeal, and brown rice. Refined grains have been milled, a process that removes the bran and germ. This is done to give grains a fine texture and improve their shelf life. But it also removes dietary fiber, iron, and many B vitamins. Some examples of refined grain products are white flour, degermed cornmeal, white bread, and white rice. As defined by FDA, fortification is the deliberate addition of one or more essential nutrients to a food, whether or not it's normally contained in the food. Fortification may be used to prevent or correct a demonstrated deficiency in the population. Example can be adding vitamin D to milk. Enrichment, however, is addition of specific nutrients such as iron, thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin to refined grain products in order to replace losses of the nutrients that occur during processing. Enrichment of refined grain is not mandatory. However, those that are labeled as enriched, such as enriched flour, must meet the standard of identity for enrichment set by FDA. When cereal grains are labeled as enriched, it's mandatory that they also be fortified with folic acid. Daily recommendation amount of grain for women 51 and over is 5 ounce equivalent, and for men 51 and over is 6 ounce equivalent. At least half of the grain you eat should be whole grain. Popcorn is a whole grain. Pop a bag of low-fat or fat-free popcorn for healthier snack. Whole grain pasta is a great in baked dishes or pasta salad. If you choose refined grain pasta, make sure it's enriched by checking the ingredient list. Ready-to-eat whole grain cereal is a tasty breakfast option or can be enjoyed as a whole grain snack. And protein is the other 1/4 of the MyPlate for the recommendation. Nutrients provided by protein will vary based on the food. For example, meat provides the most zinc, while poultry provides the most niacin. Eggs provide the most choline, and nuts and seeds provide the most vitamin E. Soy products are a source of copper, manganese, and iron, as are legumes. Meat, poultry, and seafood provide heme iron, which is more bioavailable than the non-heme iron found in plant source. The recommendation for the meat, poultry, eggs subgroup in the healthy US style eating pattern at the 2000 calorie level is 26 ounce equivalent per week and 8 to 12 ounce per week of seafood. Strong evidence from most studies has shown eating patterns that include lower intake of meats as well as processed meats and processed poultry and recommended intake of seafood are associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, reduced risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and some types of cancers in adults. Dairy on top is also recommended. 3 cups of dairy, low-fat dairy is recommended for adults, and it's there on the MYPLATE on the picture. Fat-free and low-fat, which is low-fat means 1%. Dairy products provide the same nutrients but less fat, thus fewer calories than high-fat options, less saturated fat and sodium, and more potassium, vitamin A, and vitamin D. Therefore, increasing the proportion of low-fat dairy, such as fat-free or low-fat milk or yogurt, and decreasing high-fat proportion, such as cheese, would decrease saturated fat and sodium and increase potassium, vitamin A, and vitamin D provided from dairy group. Individuals who are lactose intolerant can choose low lactose and lactose-free dairy products. Those who are unable or choose not to consume dairy products should consume foods that provide the range of nutrients generally obtained from dairy, including protein, calcium, potassium, magnesium, vitamin A, and D. Fortified soy beverage, soy milk is a good replacement. Move to low-fat or fat-free milk or yogurt. Make a smoothie by blending fat-free milk or yogurt with fresh or frozen fruit. Try banana, peaches, or mixed berries. For breakfast, try low-fat, fat-free yogurt mixed in cereal or fruit for extra flavor, texture, and nutrients. So this slide is called RDA, or Recommended Dietary Allowance, and it's a long list of all different kinds of nutrients, micronutrients and macronutrients. The reason I included this over here is because it's showing the too important for ladies in here, showing that iron, the need for iron, and age range of 31 to 50 is 18 milligram, which is way more than, as you can see, for the same age for male, or even higher age, female and male. And calcium for ladies 51 and over is higher than the other ranges. So it's very important for ladies over 51. Most deficiencies, calcium deficiencies, showing that age group, and it's very important to include high calcium food or iron for ladies. To help achieve a good calorie balance, use these health recommendations by USDA for sugar, saturated fats, sodium, and alcohol. For sugar, what's recommended by USDA, it says consume less than 10% of calories per day from added sugar. I'm going to give you an example for a calorie, for 1800 calorie, but each recommendation, each amount is different based on the amount of calorie that you need. So for 1800 calorie, 10% of it, the way it's calculated for added sugar is 1800 calorie times 10%, which is 180, and it's divided by 4 for sugar, because there's 4 calories in every gram of sugar. So to find the grams of sugar, how much grams of added sugar we need, it's divided by 4. So for 1800 calorie, you need 45 grams of sugar, added sugar. Not that you need, I mean like the maximum level that you can go for. So for saturated fat, it says consume 10% or less. For the again for 1800, when it's multiplied by 10%, it's 180. But for fat, we're gonna divide it by 9, which is there's 9 calories in every gram of fat, so it gives you 20 grams of saturated fat. So go for no more than 20 grams. For 1800 calories, go for no more than 20 grams every day. And for sodium, it's recommended to consume less than 2300 milligram per day for people who are not having any severe hypertension or other heart disease or liver or kidney problem. Many processed foods contain high amount of sodium, so choose fresh vegetable, meats, poultry, and seafood when possible. Using spices or herbs such as dill, chili powder, paprika, cumin, and lemon or lime juice can add flavor without adding salt. For saturated fat, keep it lean and flavorful. Try grilling, broiling, roasting, baking. They don't need extra fat. Simple substitution can help you stay within your saturated fat limit. Try using non-fat yogurt when you're making tuna or chicken salad. For added sugar, split the sweet treat and share with family member or friend. Cut calories by drinking water or unsweetened beverages. Soda, energy drink, and sport drinks are a major source of added sugar. Here for sugar substitution and substitute and sugar alcohol, I get a lot of questions and people asking me if it's safe. So for artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols, there's no research. As I was reading, when in 1970 or sometime they banned sorbitol and artificial sweeteners, but then later on studies show that until 2018 there's no research showing that there is a link showing that it's harmful for your body. So that's why FDA has recognized it as generally safe. And just make sure to, when you're consuming it, to pay attention to the daily value and stay within amount that range that you need to, you don't need to exceed it, consumption of it. Even for pregnant ladies, there's no nothing saying that you can't have it. So Dietary approaches to stop hypertension, or DASH. This is another one that is been mentioned in USDA recommended guidelines. DASH eating plan exemplifies healthy eating. It was designed to increase intake of foods expected to lower blood pressure while being heart healthy and meeting Institute of Medicine IOM nutrient recommendations. It's available at specific calorie levels. It was adopted from the dietary pattern developed for the dietary approach to stop hypertension research trials. In this trials, the DASH dietary pattern lowered blood pressure and LDL cholesterol level, resulting in reduced cardiovascular disease. DASH eating plan is low in saturated fat and rich in potassium, calcium, magnesium, as well as fiber and protein. It also is lower in sodium than the typical American diet, and include menus with 2 levels of sodium, 2,300 and 1,500 milligram per day. It meets the dietary reference intake for all essential nutrients and stays within limit for overconsumed nutrients, while allowing adaptable food choices based on food preferences, cost, and availability. Next, please. Different types of plant-based diets are generally defined by what they exclude. When a diet is called plant-based, it most often is some variety of a vegetarian eating pattern. In general, plant-based diets exclude animal products and promote a diet that is centered around plant food. Multiple health benefits have been associated with plant-based diets, and we will review some of that with you today. Here you see different categories of vegetarian diet. These categories include that being on vegetarian diet doesn't necessarily mean eliminating meat or meat products. Vegetarian diet exists along a continuum, a variety of eating style based on personal preferences. The term plant-based or plant-based nutrition refers to what foods are encouraged for the majority of food intake. Next, please. Healthy vegetarian pattern includes changes in food group composition and amounts based on assessing the food choices of vegetarians. The pattern is similar in meeting nutrient standards for the healthy US style pattern, but somewhat higher in calcium, fiber, lower in vitamin D due to differences in the foods included. The health benefits of vegetarian diets are well known and include protective factors for treating overweight or obesity, heart disease, hyperlipidemia, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, and osteoporosis. Next, please. Okinawa in Japan is a beautiful example of some of the healthiest traditions of Asian heritage diet. Okinawans have adopted the Chinese concept that food is nuchi gusai. I practiced a lot to pronounce this. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Meaning medicine for life, with properties that can help to prevent and treat illness and maintain health. Key eating habits include a high consumption of local vegetables, soybeans, seaweed, sweet potatoes, and turmeric, and low intake of salt. Okinawans also practice harai hachibu, the habit of eating until one is 80% full rather than overeating. I see that you already moved to the next one. Research has supported beneficial aspects of traditional Asian diets. Studies in Japan have associated unsweetened green tea with a decreased risk of type 2 diabetes. Traditional Asian dishes include many cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, cabbage, cress, bok choy, and broccoli, which are associated with reduced risk of various disease. In one study in India, even eating three more servings of green leafy vegetable a week was associated with substantially lower risk of heart disease. Soybeans are also prevalent in Asian diet, whether in soy milk, soup, tofu, and they can in part replace red and processed meats as a source of protein. Whole grains such as brown rice and barley, which were more prevalent in Asian diets a century ago, also offer health benefits and lower glycemic load. According to one meta-analysis summarizing all available studies, an increase of 2 servings a day of whole grain intake is associated with a 21% lower risk of diabetes. There are many different ways to follow plant-based or vegetarian diet. This is another visual of a continuum of dietary pattern and how they may be labeled. To be clear, diet refers to an eating pattern, not a restriction of calorie or nutrients. Research examining the benefits of plant-based diets such as DASH and Mediterranean show that population with small intake of animal products can also experience health benefits when compared with general population. No matter where a vegetarian fall on the continuum of exclusion, it's critical to include a variety of plant-based food to meet individual nutrient needs. Acculturation is the process by which individuals who immigrate into a new country adopt the attitude, value, customs, beliefs, and behaviors of the new culture. Acculturation in general is the general exchange between the original attitude and behavior associated with the originating country and those of the host culture. When it comes to food culture, acculturation has also taken its place in many of these ethnic diets by becoming Americanized. Although the nature of most of these diets, whether it's Asian, Mexican, or Mediterranean, is health-based and natural to fulfill the customer's taste and to add more flavor, the original recipe has taken place with added extra calorie and unhealthy ingredients. Above, you'll find some tips on how to make healthy choices when ordering in these ethnic restaurants. With all the focus on weight in our society, it isn't surprising that millions of people fall prey to fad diets and bogus weight loss products. Conflicting claims, testimonials, and hype by so-called experts can confuse even the most informed consumers. The bottom line is simple. If a diet or product sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Keto, Atkins, zone diet, low-fat and very low-fat diets such as Paritakin's principle, Scarsdale, magic foods such as rice, raw food diet, and liquid diet. For the food groups, these diets do permit the amounts. For the food groups, these diets do permit the amounts are either well above or well below those recommended by major health organizations like the American Heart Association, American Diabetes Association, and the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, as well as the Surgeon General and the USDA. Avoid any diet that eliminates or severely restricts entire food group or macronutrients such as carbohydrate. Even if you take a multivitamin, you'll still miss some critical nutrients. When you go on fad diet and exclude necessary nutrients, you're putting yourself at risk for becoming ill. Getting too little of any nutrient may not cause an immediate problem, but it is lacking. But if it's lacking for a long time, you may find you have health problem. There are no foods or pills that magically burn fat. No superfood no superfoods will alter your genetic code. No products will miraculously melt fat while you're watching TV or sleep. Some ingredients in supplements and herbal products can be dangerous and even deadly for some people. Next, please. Fat diets. Fat diets take many forms. They make dieting and weight loss seem easy. To help you determine if a diet is fat, ask yourself these questions. Does it ask you to eliminate or one or several food groups, and so on and so forth? Here's a list of all the questions that you need to ask. Losing weight permanently is not easy, but it can be done. It takes determination, calorie counting, lifestyle changes, along with smart food choices. And that is it.